I'm afraid I've got some bad news.
I knew it. I love when he does that.
Wrestling has more than one royal family.
Gentlemen, in my soul, something, something, Cody Rhodes. I'm the tribal chief around here. Yeah, you see me, the tribal chief. That's right.
Time. But let me go ahead and tell you.
Shut your bitch ass up.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to episode 499 of the Hoots Podcast here on this Friday, January 9th. It's 2026. I am one and only Brother Adam, a.k.a. the Nefarious One, a.k.a. Joshie Lopez. Hope each and every one of you are having a wonderful week so far as you guys are getting situated into the new year. We're still in the holiday season, aftermath, and we're almost there, guys. I don't know how to feel right now. I'm holding a lot of different emotions right now, right before pressing this record button, because it's just like the closure keeps coming in, and next Thursday will be it for this show, and I'm sure I'll say this a gazillion times next week, but if I haven't said it enough, I can't thank you all enough for giving this show a chance, a listen, whether it's for a minute, 5 seconds, regardless. I think anybody who's given this podcast a chance for the last 10 years has really, truly meant a lot to me, and I'm sure next week I'll be able to fully express what I want to express as we say goodbye to you guys when it comes to this chapter of my career. And it's hard. It's hard. We're nearly reaching close to the actual 10-year anniversary of the podcast, which was right after WrestleMania 32 in Dallas. And I was at a major crossroad in my life, and I'm not saying that I'm not in a crossroad right now, but there's a lot of decisions that I have to make, and while I make this decision has not been easy for me, I was hoping in a way through the process of like making this show over the years that hopefully the show would be a platform for me where I wouldn't have to do anything else besides this and the articles. But life doesn't work that way, and it's okay. It's okay now. Like I'm accepting it. We'll have fun next week. I hope you guys enjoyed the episode last week with referee Tony. I think Tony told me that he will be joining us for episode 500. I'm going to try to reach out to some of the guys this weekend and see what their availability is. But if you guys cannot come up on episode 500, I would completely understand. But for those who are wondering, we are going to be recording episode 500 live next Thursday, January 15th. I don't have a set time yet because I want to talk it over with the guys to see which good brothers want to pop up and shoot the shit with me before we say goodbye to everybody. But it'll be on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/The Hoots Podcast. Make sure to hit the like button and smash that subscribe button. That way you never miss an episode. Or you can follow our entire catalog of the Hoots Podcast. So go check that out. The new podcast that I'll be doing after we're done with this one, the Vanderpump Rules based show called The Surf Files will be kicking back into gear. Things have been a little bit busy, so I haven't been able to do some new episodes, but I wanted to get past 500 and say goodbye to what's been an amazing chapter in my career and a great growing experience for me as a human being. And it's just wild to think that anybody would give a fuck what I have to think about wrestling, let alone listen to it for over a decade especially close to 500 episodes. So next week is a major accomplishment. It's bittersweet because I'm saying goodbye to you guys, and in my heart, like I don't know what's next for me when it comes to the audio side of wrestling. I am looking into understanding that this may be the last wrestling podcast that I ever do. And I don't know how to feel about that, because I thought this is going to be the platform to, keep me going in this direction for the rest of my career. And I'm turning 32 in May, and something has to give, man. I've been grinding and paying my dues for these years, and I feel like, oh, hey, man, that door is going to open. That big break's going to happen, and it's been really challenging for me to keep this going and not seeing the benefits of the work and time and effort and thought, and especially the work and time I've given into this field and this space, for it to not show up and have any return on ROI has been very, very frustrating for me. I don't know what that says, like, I don't know if that means that we didn't do a good job or not. I don't know, but there's an emptiness inside me that I'm feeling about this, especially knowing that next week will be our last episode, but maybe that's just a feeling that anybody has when it comes to saying goodbye to a project that's meant a lot to them. And regardless of if you guys ever agreed or disagree with something I said about wrestling, or the fact that we don't really spend 99.9% of the podcast bitching about WWE's booking, I appreciate the people who've taken the time to listen and have been on this show over the years. And I want to say again, thank you for allowing me to be myself and help having this platform be an escape for me, and having this platform be the opportunity for me to try to rediscover who I am throughout the process. And I've grown up in front of you guys. Like, I'm still, I look back at 2016, I was 21 at the time, and getting ready to turn 22. Right now I'm 31 and about to turn 32 in May. So this is a full circle moment in my life, but we're almost here. And I just want to say again, thank y'all for being part of this countdown with me. And there's a couple other things I want to plug before we get into this week in WWE, because this is a wrestling podcast. You guys don't want to hear my sob stories anymore, I guess. But I'll just say really quick, don't forget the new home for the Hoots Podcast is Odyssey. Make sure to give a big shout out to the folks at Odyssey, so you can get that podcast anywhere you want, but maybe go to Odyssey, go to podcast and find the Hoots Podcast. And I should say the name of this channel will change to the Surf Files. The SUR Files. The channel will be changing to the Surf Files once we get done with episode 500. So you guys won't have to subscribe to any new channels or find new RSS feeds for this podcast. The only thing new that you guys will have to look out for us when it comes to podcasting is the Surf Files with myself and Matt McCool, and our YouTube channel is at the Surf Files, and then TikTok is at Surf Files, SUR Files. If you're a fan of the Bravo World or a fan of Pub Rules, you can check out our podcast on there. We're going to be getting that show back on the train tracks after episode 500. So check us out. Odyssey, I'm on X. If you want to hit me up on Twitter, it's the Hoots Podcast. Instagram at Joshie Lopez Music. Please don't forget to check out my play-by-play transcripts in the results section of WrestlingHeadlines.com. This is going to be a very busy month for me because there's a lot of international shows televised from WWE. I know they're doing SmackDown today in Berlin, Germany. We got Raw in Dusseldorf, Germany. Monday with Gunther and AJ Styles. All these international shows going into Saturday night's main event on the 24th in Montreal. And then we got the Rumble in Saudi Arabia. So it's going to be a crazy month of January. I just the other day paid off my first rent here in my apartment here in Winter Park, Florida. Life is good, man. I'm enjoying and getting adjusted to things in this apartment. It's been very nice and peaceful to have my own space, I'm not going to lie, and get to set up my own schedule. And I've been very appreciative for everybody that has been reaching out to me since this whole process has gone on. And it's real, man. Like, next week will be a full month since I moved out here. And it's going good. It's going good. I am by myself. I know this has come with the territory, and there's going to be little things that I have to get adjusted to. And there's a couple of sacrifices that are coming along the way with that. And I knew that already going into this. But, just trying to find myself a part-time job, something I can do during the day while I still do the transcripts. I need money for myself. I mean, I'm lucky to say I'm in a good position now where I can pay off my rent just off of what I do for the articles. But it's just like I need money for myself throughout the week too. So the last couple of days, especially, it's been a struggle trying to the wait and see thing when you're sending out applications for jobs and shit like that. So I'm in a new city. I'm gonna have to get a new ID soon. Taxes are around the corner, so there's just a lot going on right now. So I will say though that I'm happy. This apartment's been a lot better than I expected it to be. The weather's been nice. It's been really good so far. I have no complaints. I miss my family a lot, and I've been keeping in contact with my parents as much as I can throughout the week. And I love Chicago, that's why I'll give you a little update about where my head's at with the move and everything. But things are going good. Things are going good on that front. It's just funny. Each time I get ready to think about something I want to talk about the podcast, I'm always reminded of the stupid shit that I see along the way. And here's the thing, it's just like, especially now that I'm on my way out, I really don't care who I offend, to be honest with you, because people need to be held accountable for their stupidness. It's just like, at some point, Brian Alvarez and Dave Meltzer just fucking nut up and just say that you want WWE to fail, because you guys' fucking agenda towards NXT especially is just fucking ridiculous. I was fortunate enough to be in the building at the Performance Center this past Tuesday for New Year's Evil. I had a great time, but especially as somebody who covers NXT every single week and now has been to a show in person for NXT, I don't know what you guys are seeing, but NXT is probably the most cohesive and well put together televised weekly wrestling show there is amongst all shows. I watch Dynamite each week, and it's hard for me to stay up most of the time while watching Dynamite. So, every week Seltzer and Alvarez want to tell you that NXT is the drizzling shits. I hate to say that's. I hate to say, the guys are wrong. It could be further from the truth. Further from the truth. But when we come back want to get into what happened this week in WWE. Got a little pieces of audio to play for you guys. We're going to hear from Liv Morgan, as she was a guest on Stephanie McMahon's podcast this past week. Also going to hear from CM Punk, who also made an appearance on Busted Open this week. And you know what? We might even play the interview that Becky Lynch did on Busted Open. We'll see. But we get into the Stranger Things edition of Raw. Preview to SmackDown today, going up in Berlin, Germany for this international tour. And then I'll talk about my experience at New Year's Evil at the Performance Center. And then we'll answer your questions for this week's edition of the Backboard Q&A session right here on episode 499 of the Hoots Podcast as the road to episode 500 continues. This week in WWE, be right up next. Yeet. Welcome back, everybody, to episode 499 of the Hoots Podcast. Don't forget, if you want to participate in episode 500, which will be our final episode, make sure to send us an MP3 file. Shout out to the Hoots Podcast at gmail.com. That's the Hoots with an S podcast at gmail.com. Don't forget, episode 500 will be next Thursday, January 15th. So put that in your calendars. All right, folks, time to talk about what happened this week in WWE. First, as we usually do, we play a little piece of audio. Things stood out to me over the week. First, here we're going to play a clip from Busted Open with Dave LaGreca and CM Punk, who was a special guest this week, talking about Jey Uso. It's a short clip. It's like 50 seconds here. But I thought this stood out to me, and I think you guys will like it. So here's CM Punk on Busted Open this week.
Jey Uso in every arena, I'm battling with John Cena and Jey Uso as who sells more t-shirts on any given night. Everybody's going crazy for his music. They're yeeting. They want him to run it back. This dude can go on TV for 10 minutes and just yeet. Yeah. But then if you went on the internet, oh, he's the worst wrestler alive. Is he? Or are you just extremely hyperbolic? Everything nowadays, this is the best thing ever. This is the worst thing ever. I don't like this, so you have to not like it too. And it's really just like what you like, champion that. I try to stay away from the negativity. Yeah. Jey Uso is fucking phenomenal. Yeah. He is. 100%. We just live these lives that are so public that everybody wants to point fingers and laugh if we slip on a banana peel or make a mistake.
And the other clip here I want to play is right here from Liv Morgan's appearance on Stephanie McMahon's What's Your Story podcast. Let's play it.
Someone, I always have friends at my house. I was driving friends in my car. Someone will have a vape in my car, like a synthetic marijuana vape. And I'm not like a battery girl. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to use this vape. Right. The vape is a felony. Oh, the vape is a felony in Florida. If you have like a synthetic marijuana vape, that's a felony. Like, you're going to jail ASAP. Right? Really? Yeah. And so, and so I don't want to lie. They're like, "Is there weed in the car?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And they're like, "Where is it?" And I'm like, "Here." It's like weed, and they want to do a full car search, and then they find this like one vape pen that, unbeknownst to me, is in my car because I don't vape. But that was a felony. So they arrest me.
I'm completely unaware.
Oh yeah, they arrest me. They go through my car and they find a journal and they start reading my journal, Stephanie. And they go to my goal list and it's like so cute and innocent. It's like being the WWE Hall of Fame. Like, I want to do some acting. You know what I mean? Like, they just like read my goal list and they're like laughing at me. They're like, ha ha ha. Like, this girl, welcome to the world. This is
horrifying.
Yeah, they're like, welcome to the real world. Little does she know. And then they found like a pay stub in my car from WWE. They're like, oh wait, maybe.
Who are you?
Maybe. And then they find my trading card. And then right away, like the whole tone changes because I did not pull the WWE card. Like, I was like,
yeah, you probably were like, please don't say anything.
like shit. And also, like, I'm aware enough to know, like, I knew I was being arrested. I've been pulled over like quite a bit just because like I'm not the best driver. Drive slow though. Yeah, but drive because I'm not the best driver. Like, I'm gonna drive slow. And so I was full aware when I got pulled over. I was like, ooh, I'm getting arrested this time. Like, I just, like, my body knew it. Like, I knew it. I knew it. And
But
so,
like they knew to search.
well, no, my car smelled like marijuana because it was. I had a little bit of marijuana.
Is
in the car.
maybe this why you're not a good driver?
No. She's literally. I mean, it makes sense.
You drive slow, relaxed.
I don't drive under the influence. I don't drive under the influence. So I'm just not a good driver.
Okay.
So I knew my car smelled like marijuana, and so I didn't want to lie. Like, I probably could have, but, like, I'm like, it's probable cause, like, I told you I was a paralegal.
Right,
I'm
you're
going
going
through
through
probable cause, so I'm like, he's gonna search my car regardless, he's gonna find it. So I just was like, here. And then he was so mad at me. He was so mad at me. Right away, I get whisked out the car, hands behind my back. And
No way.
I was like, oh shit, I'm being arrested. And I was like, don't cry, because you're gonna take a mugshot. Don't cry. And then I'm like, just be nice because this body cam footage is going to be released. And so I'm just like, yes sir, no sir, yes sir, no sir. Am I arrested, sir? I'm just like, yes sir, no sir. And also, like, I would never be like, I Liv Morgan from WWE. Like, that's not like my style.
Right,
so I didn't even think that. So as I was going through my car, he finds all like my WWE shit. And the complete vibe changes. And like now they're like apologizing to me. Now it's like too far in the process where like they have to arrest me.
undo it, yeah.
And then like what the body camera didn't pick up is that 3 cop cars pull up as I'm in the back seat and I'm doing a meet and greet.
No.
Yes, I'm like this, handcuffed, and they're like, Liv, is work gonna be mad? I'm like, yeah. Like, yeah, they are. And they're taking photos, and I'm just like,
Did they all like take turns like as if they
and so I'm just like, man, what the fuck? And right away I'm just like, oh, I'm gonna get fired. And I'm so upset. I'm just like, I'm gonna get fired. Like, I spent my whole life being good. I get arrested one time, and it's not even my fault, even though it is. But I'm gonna get fired. And the thing I thought about most was like, the community work we do here. I love doing the community work.
Yeah.
I always get chosen to do the community work, and I'm like, I'm not gonna be able to do the community work.
Oh, you're gonna be doing some community work.
So I don't want to do. That's not what I want to do. And so I'm like so sad. Like, work's gonna fire me, and I just ruined everything. I spent my whole life for this one goal, and now everything is squandered. I was so upset. But work was my phone call. Work was my one call.
Wow.
I said, hey, I'm in jail.
Who did you call?
What?
Who?
I'm forgetting his name. Dan.
Dan.
It was Dan.
Oh, at the time.
Dan,
Okay.
yeah, so I called Dan, and he's like, what happened? And I tell him, like, verbatim what happened, and then I bailed myself out of jail, which is why I'm not in the orange with
Oh, okay,
Because
with
they were
the-
like, are you going to be bailed out? And I was like, yes. I was like,
Yep.
I'm failing myself. out of jail.
I actually didn't know you could bail
But it's
yourself
pretty
out.
badass. Well,
Okay.
I mean, I called him, I had to call my mom and be like, Mom, fucking,
Oh, yeah,
wire the money, let's
okay.
go, like, get me
Yeah.
out of here. But, like, it was my funds. Like, I pretty much bailed myself out of jail. And then, what was my point of this story? Why did I tell you I got arrested? Why did I even tell you that? We have to run it back. Why did I say that?
Anybody? You know you wouldn't help us get there.
She just does this.
Yeah, you
Spill
sucked
your
that out of
secrets.
me.
You're talking about journaling, and you said if you ever.
Oh, they were reading the journal.
So they read my
Yes.
journal. That was all.
That's horrifying.
You are. Holy
No,
shit.
no, listen,
Yeah.
she is.
They read my journal.
I have a journal.
They read my journal and my goal list. And
Yeah. And that's how they found out you were who you were.
yeah.
And now you use apps.
No, I still
No,
journal.
no, she's
Yeah, I still journal.
yeah.
Isn't that crazy? I did a whole meet and greet, read my whole last
Yeah.
journal.
So then how'd you get out of it? I mean, you bailed yourself out, and so then what happened?
Work was like, hey, we're gonna find you a lawyer. I paid for the lawyer, but you guys found me a really great lawyer.
Oh, good.
I'll tell you something about that lawyer
Okay.
on camera. Stephanie! You are gonna.
Oh boy, I can't wait. I can't wait.
I was like, I'm gonna get canceled. But my lawyer did his job, and I got away because
Awesome.
in Florida we do not have the proper testing to tell what is synthetic marijuana versus what is not.
Really?
So I just got thrown because we don't have the proper tools to even test what is synthetic versus what is not.
Huh.
So,
I have so many
Well, happy
questions
ending.
about that.
Yeah.
Well, good for you. That's awesome.
I mean, I guess
Yeah.
good for me, right?
Yeah.
Shit. I mean,
There's a lot of people in Florida right now that are psyched.
the more you know.
sure you did. I'm sure that was a horrifying situation.
I was horrified, and I was mortified, and I was so embarrassed, and I was like,
it is so tough though when you don't know that's in your car.
I know, but it's like your car. You should be aware of like what's in your car. But I just had no idea. It was like in the crevice of the seat, like where you drop your shit and you're like, it's gone forever.
Yeah,
it was there.
When you're looking for something that you want to find, you can't find it.
It was like in the crevice, and I never would have known it was there. I never would have found it. It has no smell, but they like searched through everything. They found it, and I just was like, damn. But yeah, those days are behind me.
Yes, they are. Yes, they are.
Do not ride dirty anymore. Everything, I know everything that's in my car.
Unless it's with dirty John.
You have to get the fuck out. Even Dominic, no, nothing in the car. And so that's something I'm very like on now.
Yeah, we have to
be. On you fucking suck it outside my car.
To not in my car. Yeah. Sorry.
All right. Liv Morgan on Stephanie McMahon's "What's Your Story" podcast. Good shit there, Oos. Alright, guys, as we usually do, we take a step back and we take a look at the week of programming that it was before we get to the Back Porch Q&A session. Be remiss without mentioning, as always, you can check out my play-by-play transcripts for these shows in the results section of WrestlingHeadlines.com and or my own website, ProWrestlingTranscripts.com. So let's start off with SmackDown last week, shall we? The first 3-hour extravaganza from Buffalo, New York. We had the return of Randy Orton this week, which I thought was pretty cool. Miz is just, his whole shtick now is airing grievances. He gets no respect. Miz is the what was the Ronnie Dangerfield. He just doesn't. He's the Rodney Dangerfield. WWE just gets no respect. Randy comes in, hits him with the RKO. So it's nice to have Randy back on the screen. I know a lot of people have been just like over with the wait, and they just want to have this Cody and Randy Orton feud. I'm not alone in that sentiment, but good things happen to people who are patient. We had the women's 8-woman tag match. Very good stuff here with Rio, Io, Charlotte, and Alexa against the Kabuki Warriors. Nia Jax, Alexa Legend. I enjoyed the match a lot. It was really good. Babyfaces took the victory in that one. SmackDown was big on introductions for new rising up-and-coming superstars from NXT. We had Jordan Grace on the program confronting Chelsea Green and Jade Cargill on the same show. We had Trick Williams making his debut on NXT, not only having a pretty cool interaction with Sami Zayn after Sami made his 500th proclamation for going after the World Heavyweight Championship. Trick got himself into a match today with Ray Phoenix, after trying to talk some smack to Ray Phoenix in the back last week on SmackDown. That whole, hey, mind your own business while grown folk talking. So we had that. We had the return and debut of the reformed Matt Cardona taking on Kit Wilson. I know this Kit Wilson's theme song has gone viral this week. It's a bop. I will say that. It's a very good song. But I was more happy to see Matt Cardona back on the TV screen, but also knowing now that like the hemming and hawing is over. Like we don't have to speculate. Oh, is Matt Cardona gonna be a surprise entrant in the Royal Rumble? No, Matt Cardona is actually a member of the WWE roster, so he'll be there now. Mo Dallas mocking the Bloodline, I thought was pretty funny last week. Talked about the Trick and Sammy segment. From there, we had Carmelo Hayes and Johnny Gargano for the United States Championship. Very, very good match on that one. Little conversation with Nakamura and Tama Tonga. I wonder if that goes down today. And then we had, I'd be remiss without mentioning the Cody Rhodes and Drew McIntyre segment, which was fantastic this week. If you guys have not been watching SmackDown, this feud with Cody and Drew has just been top notch from a heel and babyface point of view. I feel like both of these guys have just been killing it on all cylinders, especially Drew McIntyre with the promos this week, and he has this leverage advantage over Cody because Cody can't put a finger on him until they have their match today. So when you look at what's gonna go into today's match, and you got Drew playing mind games, going back into Cody's tour bus and taking the picture of Cody and Dusty together, and not only throwing his smash in the frame on the pavement, but throwing it in the trash bin and sending it on fire. It's just one of those moments where you know where somebody is going to be sent to the gulags. As much as I would love to see Drew McIntyre win the championship, I think he's getting sent to the gulags today. That's my prediction. So we got a wrestling match, falls count anywhere match, and a steel cage match for the 3 stages of hell. That's going on today on SmackDown. And also there's an 8-man tag going on with the Wyatt 6 and the MFT. So Berlin's got a pretty good show today. Kind of curious to see how this one plays out, if you know what I mean. Oops. So from there, let's go to the next talking point here, which will be the Stranger Things edition of Monday Night Raw from Brooklyn, New York. May I say that the Barclays Center has lost its luster? I don't know what it is. It's like they're hot for one show, and then they act like they're in a library the next. Like, this crowd fucking sucked on Monday. I'm not gonna lie. Look, and I'm not even gonna say that this episode of Raw was bonkers 10 out of 10 or anything like that. Did I think that Raw was boring or the drizzling shits this week like I saw a lot of my colleagues saying this week? No, I didn't. There was some really good stuff. We had new women's tag champions. We had developments in the women's division with Stephanie McMahon's injury and Cal Rodriguez. Punk and Braun Breaker was a dope main event. What else? We had Gunther and AJ Styles. We had a new women's Intercontinental champion as Becky regained the title from Maxine Dupree. Usos kind of setting the tone for what the tag division will look like this year. We had Liv Morgan's sexy ass back in the ring. God, the girl's fucking hot. I can't deny it. She gets hotter as the weeks go by. She's probably the hottest woman I've ever seen in my life. But yeah, and then again with the stuff with Punk and Breaker, I know the match kind of started slow, but when you're giving a match nearly 30 minutes, I mean, you're not going to go at the pace of fucking Javon Evans and Leon Slater, so I don't know what people are expecting. You need CM Punk and Braun Breaker are going to go at NASCAR speed to start off a match. People just don't have any patience for anything. It's a real ADD culture these days amongst wrestling consumers these days. But Punk retained the title. Fantastic match. Love the brawls with the luchadors and the Vision. That was cool. All in all, I thought Raw was a fine show for what it was. Now, do I think that this was the best episode way to kick off the new year? No, but it certainly was not the worst. And also, even for myself who has never watched an episode of Stranger Things, I thought it was fine. You know, little graphics that they were doing to set up the table for the next segment with the chapter transitions. I thought that was cool. The intro that Michael Cole and Corey Grace did was cool. This is one of those episodes where, hey, you're on a platform, it's corporate synergy, it is what it is. That's how I looked at it. There was some running discourse this week about the debates of whether you should have 10 match cards, 5 match cards. Some people feel like they don't get their money's worth these days with WWE PLEs because there's only 5 matches. Bruce Pritchard was stressing the point in his podcast this week that less is more, and I agree with him with that sentiment for sure. especially when you're bumping 14 matches, 4 on a pre-show, 10 on a main show like AEW does, and it's a five almost 6 hour extravaganza for fucking Full Gear or whatever the fuck WrestleFuck Fest is. You don't need 10 matches on a pay-per-view. If you want to do that for All In, or you want to do that for WrestleMania or SummerSlam, I'm not going to argue that 8-9 matches on a SummerSlam. Fine, I don't care. I like how they have it for the 2 nights now, where you can fit in 6 or 7 matches for both nights, and you can call it a day. But I don't think you need to have 11 match cards. Don't get me wrong. I was at WrestleMania 22. I was at WrestleMania 33 and 34, where it was like 13 match cards on both nights, on both shows. I think there was only 8 for 31, if I'm not mistaken, because I went to that one too. Dallas, that was a 2-night event. I think they did 7 for each show. I think the fine balance between like a good pay-per-view card length is, I think, 7 at max. If you go past that, I think you're doing a little too much, unless it's a big pay-per-view. But just from my point of view, I think less is more. I don't think you need to have 10 plus matches on a pay-per-view every single time you have pay-per-view. And they're running different businesses. Like, the PLEs now are not dictated on the superstars; it's on the platform now. It's a little different from AEW. They need to throw everybody and their mother on that card, because nobody else is going to give a fuck about the pay-per-view if those people are not on that show. So it's a different way of going about business, but that's just how I look at it. And lastly, let's talk a little bit about NXT. I got to go to the show this past Tuesday. I know the good brother Chris Letta at X24X on the Triple Machine asked me about how it's going to go for me when it comes to attending these NXT shows going on now that I live here in Florida. I would love to go. Trust me, I would love to go to every NXT show at the Performance Center every chance I can. I would. If it's not part of my job and I have to cover the show live, I would go to the Performance Center every single week. But I felt it was important for me to go to this event because it was New Year's Evil. It was a way for me to have a legitimate night out for myself since I moved here. I talked it over with Calvin for the site, the owner of the Wrestling Headlines, and he let me go to the show. And I went to the show. Had a great time. This was my second time at the Performance Center, and it's just really cool, man. You're in an environment where you ultimately want to work at, so being in that ambiance is just fantastic. They got to tape an episode of LFG before the show went on air, so I think their season 3 of LFGs will be coming out soon on A&E, and watch out for that Elijah Holyfield, man. That kid's good. He is pretty good. So it's nice seeing him. Get to see Cena Sterling wrestle for the first time in person. I thought that was cool. She fought Chantel Monroe from Evolve. And I didn't know what to expect going into this New Year's Evil show. Like, this was a groundbreaking show, and I'm glad to say that I was lucky enough to be there, because we had Obafemi's last match as the NXT champion, and probably his last match in general in NXT. We had a new champion with Izzy Dane. Well, congratulations to her, because not only is she great to look at, but she's really good in the ring. I don't think Izzy Dane gets enough props from my colleagues for how much she's improved over the last couple of years. She's fantastic. So congrats on her becoming the new Women's North American Champion. We had shake-up with the NXT title picture with the fact that Oba vacated the title this week. what's up with Blake Monroe? Is she getting the boot from NXT? There's a lot of call-ups from Evolve. We're seeing more of the Vanity Project. I wouldn't be surprised if you see maybe more of Callie Armstrong in the coming weeks. Especially with that last segment they did with Ava talking to the people from Evolve and LG and the Performance Center in her office. Like, it's really a new change in the guard. Javon Evans, Trick Williams, Lash Legend, Jordan Grace, and now Open Femi are now up on the main roster. So the playing field is wide open for NXT this year. I mean, Ricky Saints is still there. He's going to be the probably the top veteran guy to go through. You know, probably can see something where Tony D fights Ricky Saints for the championship at Stand and Deliver. That's where my head's at, coming out of what I saw on Tuesday. But get to be there and experience the show is just fantastic. It was my first time getting to see JC Jane wrestle in person, which was awesome because I've always been a big admirer of her work. She's fantastic in the ring. I've always been a fan of JC Jane, even from her days from Toxic Attraction. And the sky's the limit for her. Getting to see Leon Slater wrestle for the first time in person was pretty cool. I was actually a couple rows behind Carlos Silva, who was in attendance for that match. So that was pretty cool. It was just a fun vibe. If you ever go to the Performance Center, I love the setup that they have. You don't have to pay money to go to these shows. They have a Facebook group it's a public Facebook group for people who want to attend these shows. They put the invitation links out there. And if you get approved, you can meet up in the parking lot at Full Sail University, and they have free bus shuttles that'll take you to the Performance Center and back to Full Sail once the show goes off the air. Now, mind you, for those who don't know, I live technically 3 to 4 blocks away from Full Sail University. So I'm right there. So if there's an opportunity where they do a double taping or they do something on a Wednesday or something like that, or even if they have an NXT homecoming show at Full Sail again, guess what? I'll probably go there. But the thing here is just like I have to monitor it. If I was not covering NXT or something came up with a budget cut and I'm not allowed to cover NXT anymore, I would go to the Performance Center every week. I would go there every single week, no questions asked. So I had a really good time. I love NXT. I love what it represents. It's a fun show to cover each week, and I'm just blessed that I got to experience New Year's Evil in person. It was it meant a lot to me to be there because one of the regrets that I had before I leave Chicago is the fact that I haven't been able to see CM Punk in the arena in person since his AEW days, and I haven't seen him in a WWE setting in Chicago since that Christmas house show before he quit the company back in 2014. So we're talking about nearly 13 years since I've seen CM Punk in a WWE environment in Chicago, and a big part of me wants to go to the Elimination Chamber. I really do want to go to that show. Maybe I could surprise my family and come into town to see that show. But yeah, this is some stuff off the top of my head for this week in WWE. When we come back, we'll answer all of your questions here for the Back Porch Q&A session, right here on episode 499 of the Hoots Podcast. As the road to episode 500 continues, we'll be right back in just a beat. Yeet. All right. Welcome back to the Hoots Podcast. So it's time to answer your questions for this week's edition of the Back Porch Q&A session. One segment here to go, folks. Here you go, our final segment here before we get to episode 500. Let's do it, folks. Let's throw it up. Throw up the X for the good brother Chris at X Evens on that 24X on the Twitter machine. Let's see what he has for us this week, Gooses. He says, "What up, Goose? Here's some questions for the Q&A this week." Also, historical context, as always, I want you guys to know, as always, if you want to participate in the Back Porch Q&A session, all you have to do is hit me up at Twitter at the Hoots Podcast or the Hoots Podcast at gmail.com. Here we go. Here's your questions here. What up, Hoots? Here's a question for your Q&A this week. What are some of your personal goals for 2026? Well, that's a great question, my man. Okay. I want to challenge myself to make this a reality, that I pay off every single rent for my lease, and get the second job and make the best out of it. Well, personally, I want to explore more and go to like Disney and Universal a couple times when I can. But I want to embrace, my main personal goal this year is to embrace Florida. I talked about it for so long that I wanted to be here. So now let me just be here and just experience it. And the main thing for me, personal goals this year, obviously, is to make money and get closer to reaching my ultimate goals and stuff like that. That's a given, but I think for me personally and just mentally and spiritually, I just want to rediscover happiness again and just having fun and not being so tied down and overthinking things. And I don't want like my self-doubt to control me this year. I feel like the last couple years have been so much of a transition period for me, and going to different apartments and stuff like that, and constant moving. And I guess the thing I want the most out of myself this year is reassurance that I have what I want, I got what I need, and nobody's getting in my way. And that's probably the best way I can say about it. If things come where I get new friends or I finally get myself into a relationship, I'll let God figure that stuff out for me. I'll let God's time figure that out. But ultimately for me, my ultimate goal this year is to just be happy. And I'm in the place where I want to be, and I want to enjoy it. So that's a great question. How are you feeling with one episode to go of the Hoots Podcast? I'm sad. I am. I'm sad because I'm very proud of what we've been able to accomplish with the show, but I'm also sad knowing that that this is going away. Like I said in the beginning of the show, I really felt like this was going to be my platform where I could have my career, and my career is making articles and doing podcasts. But I'm feeling a big sense of pride in the fact knowing that we're going to reach 500 episodes next Thursday. But saying goodbye to a project that's like a baby to you, it's not easy. So it's hard. But I'm trying to keep myself calm and not break down in tears about it. Like, I've been having some emotions about it already this week, just thinking about it. I'm sure there'll be part of me that'll be definitely emotional after we get done recording that last episode. But we're here, and we made it, guys, so that's how I honestly feel. Thoughts on the NXT call-ups? Good. I just hope for the best for them and see where things go. I don't want to have any preconceived notions of, they're going to be treated the same way as Vince McMahon treats NXT talents. He's not there anymore. And the fact that it's 2026 and people still think that Vince McMahon is backstage making decisions, it's just kind of tells you where the state of the wrestling media and IWC are these days. Where do you see... next question. Did any of the head coaching firings surprise you this week? No. None of them have, actually. I mentioned Pete Carroll last week. I mentioned John Harbaugh. I'm kind of surprised that Jonathan Gannon is still there in Arizona, if that's the one that hasn't been fired. Miami decided to stall, and then they finally fired Mike McDaniel on Thursday. So none of them have been truly surprising, to be honest with you, Chris. But next question: where do you see Matt Taven ending up? Gosh, I don't know. I'll just go with a guess here. I'll say NWA. Who from Evolve will make an impact in NXT in 2026? Swipe Right, Jackson Drake, Callie Armstrong, Shawn Legacy, Chantel Monroe, Tate Wilder, Cappuccino Jones, Jack Cartwheel. They're still part of the WWE. I'm not sure. I haven't had a chance. That's the thing about these bunch cuts that frustrate me, because like I miss covering them all. I do. I love that was something for me to do on a Wednesday night. So I miss covering them all. But those are the ones that I would pick for there. Have you seen anything from Wrestle Kingdom this past weekend? I only saw the people that came down to ring to celebrate Tanahashi's epic career. Congratulations to Tanahashi on his retirement. I didn't get to watch the show, but congratulations to Tanahashi on an amazing career. It was a privilege to transcribe a lot of his work over years in so many different G1 tournaments and stuff like that. And I'll never forget one of the first Wrestle Kings that I covered was him and Okada. And I was like, oh my god, this is one of the craziest matches I've ever seen. And then they run it back for the first time they did the G1 in America, in Dallas at the American Airlines Center. I remember that like it was yesterday. That was a fun time, and I miss covering New Japan, obviously, but I didn't get to watch the show. How was New Year's Eve live? Should we be seeing you more at NXT shows in Florida? I'll say, to your second question, I'll say yes. There will be more times where I will go to the Performance Center. I just need to pick the right time to do it, when they have either double tapings or stuff like that. But I think they're content with being on Tuesday now, and it's a situation that I have to navigate with the fact that I do have to cover the shows now. You know, it's a little different, but if something happens and I can make the best out of it, then I'll do it. If they tape on a Wednesday or something like that, whatever the situation is, I'll be there. So, you know, for example, if they do double tapings ahead of, I think for like the big specials, I'll probably go to those, like go homes to, like go home shows for like a Stand and Deliver or a Deadline or something. I'll be there, but I have to play it off the air and see what goes with my schedule and go from there. Did you watch Cody and Finn's episode? I haven't yet. I have not, but I heard it was a good podcast. All the ones I've seen this week so far was AJ Styles on 6 Feet Under with Undertaker and Michelle McCool. That was a really cool podcast. They got to break down the Boneyard match. I thought it was fantastic. And then I saw the Liv Morgan one with Stephanie McMahon. That's a very, very good podcast. Is there anybody you can think that's available that we'll see in NXT in WWE in 2026? That's available. That's an interesting question. I don't know. I wish I'd be more tapped into the independent scene and free agency, but I'm not. I just leave it up in the air. I just go with a safe bet to say Chris Jericho. I don't know. Tough question there, but I like you asking that, Chris. I'm not sure. Do you think the cards are being lined up for Becky versus AJ for the IC title? Yeah, I kind of figured that was the route they were going to go with. So if it's something where AJ costs Becky the Royal Rumble, or Becky costs AJ the Royal Rumble, then they can fight each other for the IC title at WrestleMania. So you go from there. Last question here. The next Mela Open Challenge for the U.S. title should be against That's a great question. You gotta look up the roster up and down. I'll say for this instance here, and for the fact that they haven't had their blow-off match yet, I'm going to go with The Miz. I am. I know people are going to groan about it, but if you think about it, Miz and Bello have not yet had their blow-off match for their little rivalry that they were about to have yet. So I'm going to go with The Miz. Sure, you could say somebody like Tama Tonga, but I think Omofemi is going to Raw, so it's not going to be him. You're not going to rush him and Trick Williams just for an open challenge match. I mean, you can do Nakamura, you can do Aleister Black, maybe Damian Priest. By the way, shout out to Priest and Black in their ambulance match. I'd be remiss without mentioning that. I enjoyed it this past Friday. There's a lot of options there, but I think The Miz would be probably the most logical one that's up next, if you want my honest opinion on that. But on that note, we're going to put a rib on the bell on this week's edition of the Back Porch Q&A session and episode 499 of the Hoots Podcast. As always, I want to thank Chris for the awesome questions this week. As always, make sure to follow up on X at XTeamSaletta24X on Twitter Machine. Throw it up, folks. Throw it X. Throw those X up for the good brother Chris Saletta at XTeamSaletta24X on the Twitter Machine. You can hit me up on X at the Hoots Podcast, Instagram at Joshie Lopez Music. Make sure to hit the like button and smash the subscribe button on YouTube as we're on the road to 5,000 subscribers. Make sure to check out all my play-by-play transcriptions in the results section of WrestlingHeadlines.com and or my own website, ProWrestlingTranscriptions.com. And don't forget, the home of the Hoots Podcast is Odyssey. Shout out to the good folks who came for Odyssey for having us. Also, don't forget to type in the Hoots Podcast. It's free of charge anywhere you get your podcast from. And don't forget, if you want to participate on episode 500 of the Hoots Podcast and you can't be on the program, just hit me up, man. Send me an MP3 shout out, MP3 file shout out to the Hoots Podcast at gmail.com. Pretty simple ordeal there. And we'll be here to say one last goodbye to each and every single one of you who've been on this ride with us for the last 10 years. I want to say, as I've always been saying on this podcast since day one, be the authentic product that is yourself. Remember, nobody dictates the pace of life but yourself and the man upstairs. I love all of you. This is Joshie. This has been episode 499 of the Hoots Podcast. As the road to episode 500 continues, and episode 500 will be next week. I love all of you. Thank you for being on this ride with me. And let's go on with a bang next week, alright? Have a great weekend, everybody. I'm Joshie. This has been episode 499 of the Hoots Podcast. And we'll talk to y'all next week. Yeet.
Bye-bye, bitch.